was going to ask how many people did the homework, and preemptively people came up to me before and said, "Man, I did the homework today." So just so you know, don't call on me. Okay? But guess what? I'm going to call on you anyways, just to move this thing along and hopefully inspire you to jump into the homework again. I was actually changed it. I told you to read chapters 3, 4, and 5 last week, right? Because my hope and my plan was that I was actually going to be teaching on chapters 4 and 5. And then Aaron came to the meeting on Tuesday, where is he? He's like, "What do you mean you're not teaching on chapter 3? I said, "Well, that was fine. It's given that I think 4 or 5 together." He's like, "No, you're missing all of chapter 3. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll read through it again." And so I read through it again. Sure enough, it was too much to teach on in chapter 3. And so I was going to teach on chapter 3, but I'm going to try to. There was so much in there that it was. Anyways, there was some really cool stuff that I wanted to talk about. So as we read through chapters 3, 4, and 5, I know last week Aaron asked you when you read this, what do you think when you read this? And Don's expression was what? It's boring. It's boring. Did you get that same response again, Don? Did you read it differently this time? Very differently. All right. I think there was a book on Justice's Floor. Yeah, there was a book on Justice's Floor in his bedroom. It's been on his floor for the past, 4 months, 5 months. And I was going to bring it to the service today. And it's a book on World War II. And it's like this thick. And I sometimes feel like I have to hold up because he's got to write papers up. And he's just trudging through this. And World War II shouldn't be boring history. There's a ton of stuff in there. But when you have a book that's 678 pages long, oh my gosh. And I wonder, when we go through Judges, is it like that for us? So we look at this and oh my gosh, there's so many pages on Judges. And you got this judge and that judge, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm convinced, more now than ever before, that as I read these stories and reread these stories, and then now with a new perspective of reading these stories, that these stories are less about the literal facts of history than they are about how we are to live our life of love, of hope, of courage, how to face death, how to overcome heartache, how do we find wisdom and truth in the stories that reflect our own lives today. So for the last 2 weeks, we've shared on the screen this pattern. And Aaron touched on it because chapter 2 really hit on, here's the pattern, just set up, here's what you're going to see. And then in chapter 3, we see this pattern happen over and over. The people seem to have peace. Things are going fine. Things are going great. They're making money, they're having families, they're going crops, everything's going well. But all of a sudden, there's this problem. Whether you look at it as sin or infidelity, or there's these struggles that take place, and then there's this punishment that takes place. There's an oppression, there's a tyrant that comes in that takes over and enslaves them. And then moves them into a place where they cry out to God, "God, please save me, help me again. And God sends somebody, a Savior. The Spirit of the Lord is on them. And the oppressor is subdued, and the land has rest for a certain amount of years. And then it happens again. And in this chapter, just chapter 3, there's 3 cycles. And just a few short verses, 22 verses. There's 3 of these cycles that we see, and 3 different people that God raises up and sends. 3 different stories, 3 cycles. The 3 people are who? Othniel, Ehud, and Shamgar. And so as I looked at these 3 again, I wanted to know, why does the writer put all 3 of these guys together, so close together? Obviously, there's a cycle that they're going through. Is there something connecting these 3 guys together that they're all compacted into this story right here? Why is the writer saying, let's put all 3 of these guys so close together? So let's dig into these guys and figure out who these guys are, see if we can find a correlation. Why are they right next to each other? Why are they all in the story together? So who's the first guy? Othniel. It's easy to gloss over these stories in English, so I'm going to try to pull out some of the Hebrew to bring the story to life a little bit. But first of all, who is Othniel. Anybody remember? What? Yeah. And who's Kenaz the brother? Who's Caleb?
Caleb, one or two guys.
He was the spy, right? With Moses. Joshua and Caleb, he's the spy. The guy's like, no, come on. He's one of the 12 that goes into the promised land and comes back. And the 10 spies say, we can't do this. Caleb's the guy that's like, no. He's the big mouth, the boisterous, the brave guy that says, no, we can do this, Moses. We the people can actually take over, and we can do exactly what you asked us to do. He's also, as Moses passes on, he's the co-general to Joshua. Joshua leads Israel, right? He's like the number 2 guy. He's also, if you remember from week 1, he's also the guy who killed 3 giants. This is Caleb. Caleb also said, hey, whoever takes that hill can have my daughter's hand in marriage. And who takes the hill? Who takes his daughter? What? Alex? You already read it. Othniel wins Caleb's daughter's hand in marriage. You did. Those answers okay. So Othniel is this guy who comes from the lineage of kings, warriors. He marries the woman whose father is one of the greatest warriors of all time. This is who Othniel is. And it says that God raises up a savior. Rena.
Which tribe?
He's from the tribe of Judah. I believe he's from the tribe of Judah. Rena says this. And when the children of Israel cried unto Jehovah raised up a savior for the children of Israel, who saved them. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. He raised up a savior for them, a Messiah. And it says in verse 10, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he ruled Israel. Now these are interesting words to be using, right? God raised up a savior. The Spirit of the Lord was upon him, and he ruled.
You know, the ESV said that he delivered, he placed a savior, and so ruled was a judge.
And it's interesting because it doesn't actually use the word judge there. It's well, it can be used either way. It can be used ruler or judge. And that's the thing about the word in Judges is it has 3 different ways that it can be used. It can be used as in a military sense, as Aaron was talking about last week. It can be used as a judge, can be a leader, as like a courtroom judge, but it also, like I said, it can be a leader who rules like a king. So he's a ruler, a Messiah, a Savior, a deliverer, and the Spirit of the Lord was upon him. So in this one person, God raises up a warrior king who the Spirit of the Lord was upon him. Now we won't talk about this, but if you understand the Gospels, what were the people in the first century looking for? A warrior king. Where would they have got that idea from? Keep that in mind. We'll touch on that maybe not today, maybe later.
Is the Spirit of the Lord hating?
Is it an idiom?
I don't certain meaning. I mean, that's Greek. It says in hate all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily an idiom or as opposed to like the Spirit of the Lord was moving and speaking through or leading and guiding them. Yeah. It wasn't an idiom for anything else. Maybe metaphor. But my question then was why did Israel need a warrior king at this point? And it's found in the next few verses. And you don't understand this, and the English doesn't capture this, but it says, and the displeasure of Yehoshaphat burned against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan Rishathaim. That name is used in the next 4 sentences 4 times, which is interesting, because you don't usually repeat names unless what? Unless it's important, right? So in these 4 sentences, his name is used 4 times. But then we have to, does it anybody else? Well, it doesn't matter what your English translation says, because the Hebrew is what's important here. His name literally means evil, or twice evil, double evil. He's just a bad freaking man, is who this guy is. He's bad. And so, how do you get rid of something that is so evil, so bad, so oppressive, and such a tyrant? What do you need? You need a freaking warrior. Right? You need a warrior who's going to come in and take over or destroy this oppressive nature of this person. So that's who God raises up. When I was reading this, I mean, I don't know, like as I'm reading through these stories, there's movies and books that come to me. Like as I'm reading this, I'm thinking Lord of the Rings, right? The last one, which is Return of the King, right? There's this king, this warrior that has to fight the evil to reclaim his throne, which is actually his. Or if you're back from my age and your age, Conan the Barbarian. That's what originally came to mind, right? It's like, nobody knows what that movie is here. Right? But Conan the Barbarian was like the first thing I mean, this is it right here. You know, the fight against evil. For the rightful king. And so, Othniel is like this bad dude. He's like, I don't mean bad as in like, I mean bad like how the young people say that. Like, he's like tough, like strong. He's not soft, right? He's the man. We then move on to Ehud, right? Verse 15. And when the children of Israel cried out to Yehovah, they raised up a savior again. For them, Ehud, son of Gera, the Benjamite, a man impeded in his right hand. What does another translation say? It says a left hand. Which is interesting. Most of the English translations say that. But in Hebrew, there's a prefix in there that is untranslatable. That's why most translations say left hand. Because it's just a short little thing that's added. But it leads to the idea there's something wrong with his left hand. Not that he is left-handed on purpose, but that this person is left-handed. Because somebody in the Bible, I don't need the full story. What's that? I don't need the full story. You know what I'm saying? I know, that's what we got to dig, right? So there's something wrong with his right hand. Not that he's just born left-handed. How many left-handed people are in here? 1, 2, 3 ladies. Interesting. And? Yeah. You are left-handed. That's right. What did you say? Now. So why is Ehud's hand left-handed? It doesn't tell us. Maybe he was born that way. Maybe he had a stroke. Maybe he had some kind of medical issue where he lost control of his hand. Because it doesn't say it's gone. It just says that it's impeded or shut up is the actual translation. So you say that for you see his left hand or his right hand? I'm sorry, his right hand. He's left-handed. That's one side of the wall with his right hand. Maybe he was fishing because he got his hand bitten off by a shark. I don't know, I wrote this story, right? Clearly he lost his hand by a shark attack. Right? But there's something wrong with this person. He's deformed, maybe crippled, something. And who's he talking to? I mean, my mind is Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, right? Who's, what? Jabba the Hutt, right? Ehud goes before the king, and he's what? He's this big, massive, in the Hebrew, it's like this big, massive, overweight man, like he's overfilling the chair, like he's huge, he's Jabba. You say he's fat. I said he's fat. He was fat. He was a big, big dude. You know, and here's this guy with a deformity. I think like, okay, Star Wars or, Sword in the Stone or Captain America, this little scrawny guy, who eventually they hear their calling and they go to it. And here in this story is this unthinkable story of a hero who acts out his calling. Ehud is a story of intrigue, suspense, dangerous deception, and assassination to bring about a revolt against an oppressive tyrant. It's a movie in itself. I mean, there's all of these things. I mean, you got a guy that can't use his right hand. You know, in that culture, everything was about the right hand. That was his right hand straight, it was right hand everything. You got a guy who can't use his right hand. He gets into the capital city to speak to the king. How do you do that? And get up so close to him that you stick a dagger so far into him that nobody even knows it's there. And you sneak out. And nobody sees you. Like this is James Bond stuff right here. Right? If you're glossing over this text, you're missing the whole point. You're missing all of the little details that explain this huge story. How does this guy even get through this? And then, when it doesn't say in your text too, like they stick this door in that hits something in his back, and like he loses control of all his mouths, and the room is filled with excrement, right? And the part of the reason why this servants don't come in is they can smell the excrement coming out, and the king must be relieving himself. So they leave him alone as he leads out the house. It's fascinating, this story. Like, this is movie stuff. Then we move on to Shamgar. Shamgar, verse 31. Poor Shamgar. The guy gets 2 sentences. Like this whole story, and then you get Shamgar. What does it say? 31. And after him was Shamgar, son of Anath, and he struck 600 men of the Philistines with an ox goad. He too, he struck. That's kind of wrong, right? Oh, there was another guy. He was of the first saviors too. Right? That's weak. But that's not what's interesting about this. Shamgar didn't have the Spirit of the Lord upon him, it doesn't say. And there's something else missing that's found in his name. What's wrong with his name? Great call. Good job. It's not Hebrew. Anath is actually the name of an ancient Canaanite warrior god. Shamgar is named after the son of an ancient Canaanite warrior goddess. Shamgar isn't a Hebrew. He's a Goy. He's a Gentile. A Gentile who fights for these Jewish people that God uses to save these people. He's remembered in the story as a Gentile came in and helped overcome a tyrant, an oppressor for the Jewish people. So as we read through these 3 people, what do they have in common? You have a warrior king, a badass, warrior king. You have a crippled man, and you have a Gentile who looks like a pagan, follows pagan gods. What do these 3 people have in common? God did, but what do they have in common? In my opinion, nothing. As I look through this, there's nothing that's really tiny. Each one of these are so different. There's really nothing that these people have in common, except for God used them. And I had to go back to verses 5 and 7. Russell, read verses 5 through 7, please.
Chapter 3. So the people of Israel lived among the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Israelites, and the Jebusites, and they daughters took to themselves for wives, and their own daughters they gave to their sons, and they served the gods.
Is that right?
7?
No, that's okay. 3 through 5. That's okay.
3 through 5?
I'm sorry, 5 through 7.
And the people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. They forgot the Lord, their God, and served the Baals and the Asherah.
What's the problem? Why is Israel in trouble? Why do they find themselves in trouble? Sold out is a good way to say it, but there's another way to say it that's softer.
They assimilated to pagan culture.
They assimilated to the culture around them. There's another story that these people should have known. They weren't there for it. Galen was. There was a guy named Phineas. These people should know Phineas. What did Phineas do? A Moabite woman who's in here, in his tent, and he grabbed a spear. Right through him. Let's speed it up a little bit. Why was that a bad thing? Because at that time, the Moabites were like, how we can't defeat these people, so we'll just send our women in them and entice them, and then sway them away from their God, so we'll be friends with them. And Phineas was like, yeah, this is the problem. And God actually made a covenant with Phineas because of what he did. And so here you have these people, peace, things are great, they assimilate to the culture around them, the culture around them then does what? Influences them. They marry their daughters, they give their daughters off to be married, and things are kumbaya, and things are great. Like, well, they do this, and they do this, and we can, we can share our things, and it is what it is. It is what it is. And as soon as the people of God assimilated within the culture, what did the Bible say? They forgot.
Part of the sentence.
Part of the silence.
Gosh.
What's horrible about that? It's so easy for us to say, look at those people, they just keep forgetting. Don't we do the same freaking thing every day? We live in this cycle, things are good, and then we assimilate, and we start doing things and acting like the rest of the culture does, and then we fall into this problem, we're like, gosh, how are we in this problem? We're like, God, please help us, save us. God send somebody to help rescue us and bring us out, and we change, and we repent, and we start living this right way, and then we find comfort and peace, and we make money, and we're doing all this stuff again, and then we're like, oh, but we can do this too. Look at these, our neighbors are doing this, our friends are doing this. We do the same thing. We like to blame. Oh, look at those dumb Hebrews. But the point of the story is like, this is life. This is our life. This is what we struggle with. The Torah was given to these people for instructions on how to live. To genuinely live in freedom and in peace and in wholeness. And societies historically and even today who don't follow the Torah, we find things like injustice and persecution, tyranny, oppression, hatred, racism, violence, insecurity, and narcissism. I mean, think of the first century Essenes. Why did they leave? Why did they go to the desert? Because they're like, these people, they're not following anymore. And what did we see in the Sadducees who were in control of the temple? We saw violence, and anger, and selfishness, and pride, and assimilation of the Romans.
But when you live in like a time, you live in a culture like we live in, same things that we struggle, right? Every day, we live in a culture, right, that is trying to make everything happen to our lives.
Sure.
And so there's reasoning, in our minds, where we talk school, where we talk everywhere we go, except the one day a week that you come to a place that reminds you of God's ways. And that reason there is very easy to be sick. Because I'm sure you know how many years it is. Well, actually, it's 8 years. Yeah.
18? Yeah.
So wasn't like sometimes the thing about it is when he first told me to go into the land, right, to drive everybody home inside, hey, why drive around? Let's just go live alone. Right. We can stay strong, but yet, and we see this cycle go. It's the same thing today, we need this.
Isn't that take a guy and stay strong even in the light? Hey, kill everybody.
Which is interesting.
To a certain degree.
Thank you for shifting. Yes, because actually, if you go back to the very beginning, verses 1 and 2, why did these things happen? And it says, and these are the nations which Yehoiakim left to try Israel by them. All those who had not known all the battles before them. Only the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them battle. Only those who before did not know that. It's an interesting way to start this chapter. These people who go through these 3 different stories, these 3 different battles, even if it's over 100 years, the reason God allows this to happen is because they didn't know how or why it was so important to fight. Tuesday, I don't know if you guys heard about Tuesday, right? Most of you probably heard about Tuesday. Tuesday is, a little excitement in our parking lot. And there was a high-speed chase going down St. Bernard Highway. I'm walking out to my car. I see tons of blue lights coming my way, and this car flying down the street. I think I see the spikes go out in front of the road here. I'm thinking, wow, what if this guy's going to make a turn? Well, he's not making the turn. There's no way he's making the turn. He comes flying into the parking lot. Me and this Ponzi down there in the short street, take off running. Like, I got to get out. Who knows where this car going? And it hits my truck. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, these guys bail out, and the guys run out. And I'm like, there's multiple things going through my mind at this point, right? Like, there's the oh crap factor, there's the should I try to stop them factor, there's a wait, I have employees inside, should I go inside and lock the doors factor? So, like, all these things within a split second are in my mind. What should I do? So I run inside and I'm like, the door's unlocked. I'm like, man, lock the door. And this guy's literally running by the front door 3 times. I'm like, is he coming in here? Like I have. Luckily, we didn't have a daycare yet. It's just me and the admin. I'm like, I have staff behind me. So I'm like, holding the door closed. And, you know, the police are everywhere. They're like, it's like Keystone Cops. They're like running back and forth across the parking lot, chasing this guy. He's like, dodging it. Like, it was crazy. Right? You know, and one guy was like, it was a scene. It really was. And I remember I was looking at that and I was like, I walked away and I was thinking about that night. I'm like, I feel inadequate. Not that I did anything wrong, but there was just a feeling of inadequacy of like, was I prepared for this? Should I be more prepared for this? Should I be more ready for these types of situations? And it made me question myself and ask, what am I doing here in this community? One half of me was, what am I doing here? Is it, God, are you trying to tell me like a storm, a tornado, like, is it time for me to go? Right? Honestly, that's one of my thoughts. But then on the other half, it's like, what am I doing in this community to prepare this community? Because things, in my mind, seem to be getting worse. I looked at a friend of mine sent me a stat from, a couple weeks ago, last week actually. The violent crime in New Orleans has gone up 85%. As opposed to nationwide, it's gone down 11%. Right? Okay, that's kind of a problem. Our culture, forget the violent side of it, I feel like is struggling with increasing apathy, selfishness, anxiety, dependence upon technology, where I can't do anything without this telling me what to do. Anger and violence is what our culture is struggling with. Is this the message that the Torah teaches? How to live? Does the Gospels, is this the good news that we should just live with anxiety and depression and apathy and selfishness? Is this the message that Yeshua gave his disciples to live this way? Inside this culture, have we assimilated to the mentality around us?
Every bad is good.
Only the generations of the children of Israel may know to teach them that only those who before did not know. I read that and I thought, are we trained? Are we prepared for the battle of tyranny against us that continues to expand in our everyday lives and culture? Are we okay with the status quo? It is what it is. It's just how we've always done it. Before we bought this building, we're 14 years ago, we met in my house. We were growing to the point where we had no more room in the house. There was a church in this area we went to visit. And I met with the pastor and said, hey, very few people came to this building. I said, would you be okay with maybe partnering with us, like sharing your time with us? We'd come after you, or maybe letting us use the building to bring people in and use this building to to be a light and beacon for the community, to do church and spiritual events and prayer stuff. Would you be willing to do that? He said, well, I mean, let me talk to my congregation, but we're really not into like doing a whole lot for the community. I said, what? He said, yeah, I mean, most of the people that come here don't even live here anymore, and they're okay with the people just dying out until there's nobody left. And he said this. He said, basically, our people call themselves the frozen chosen. I was shocked. Like, this is a joke, right? And we just went through Katrina, everything's destroyed, and you're just like, we're good. The frozen chosen. That reminded me as I was thinking of the story of another passage. This comes from John, who had a dream on the island of Patmos. Now, if you talk to Walt, he'll say he was taking drugs while he was there, or maybe he was just as mystical. If you talk to the demon. You have to get to the mystical aspect somewhere, but he has this vision that God sends Yeshua Messiah to John to give him this message. And he said this is Revelation 3. He says, he who has an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies. Okay, to the assemblies. And to the message of the assembly of Laodicea, write, the Amen, the truth, the trustworthy, the true witness, the beginning of the creation of God, says this, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would that you were cold. I would hope that you were cold or hot. So, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I am going to vomit you out of my mouth. In other words, your life is a mistake. Because you're just so. So much so that my stomach hurts and my chest makes me want. Because you say, rich I am, and I am made rich, and need none at all, and do not know that you are wretched and pitiable and poor and blind. I advise you to buy from me gold refined in fire, so that you will become rich, and white garments, so that you become dressed, so that the shame of your nakedness might not be shown. And anoint your eyes with ointment so that you see. As many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent. Turn back to me, in other words. See, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I shall come in to him and dine with him, and he with me. To him who overcomes, I shall give to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to all these assemblies. That should be convicting. That should be convicting to ask the question, do I still have a passion for God? Is my passion for God still a passion for this community that we live in? Am I okay with being the frozen chosen? Is that my goal? Things are okay, I'm good, I make plenty of money, I'll show up on the rest of the day, I'll just show up on Saturday, and things are alright. That's all that I need. My prayer is that I hope that we are not already assimilated in this culture of apathy and selfishness and laziness. That maybe right now, because of those storms, because of all the things that happened and the destruction that took place around us, maybe it's time for us to be proactive, to take initiative, to take responsibility for what God has given us here in this place. Maybe it's time to prepare for battle spiritually. Ask yourself the question, are you lukewarm in your faith? I think the time is now. The time is now to ignite that passion that is deep inside every one of us. It's time to fight. make a difference in this community. Father, I just thank you for an opportunity to be open to your voice, to be open to what you have for us. I pray, Father, that in everything that we do, whether it be through words or through actions, through love and compassion, everything that we do is not for me or ourselves. Not so that we can be seen or that we can receive praise or gratitude from anybody else. I pray that our hearts can be changed, that everything that we do from this point forward can be to bring glory to you in your name alone. To recognize that we are your humble servants and we desire to be your warriors in this place. To do battle against the evil that has consumed our culture. To fight against the apathy and the laziness and the selfishness. In the name of victimhood, we wish to live our lives for you. Who has given us not a spirit of fear, but of power, so that we can do your will. We praise your holy name.